There's only one that can do what Caitlyn Clark did. Bring all those eyes. For pure basketball purists, there's nobody like her.
Ever wonder why some WNBA stars seem to break out in hives every time Caitlyn Clark's name is mentioned? It's like they're allergic to success that isn't their own. And boy, Clark's been serving up a feast of achievements lately.
On the court, what she did, and I don't know if you saw, Indiana Fever yesterday posted this clip of Caitlyn, and the caption was just her accolades, and it took 5 minutes to read, and I'm like, girl, do you want to chill at all? She doesn't know.
Zero. And it, listen, I think this is probably the easiest decision to make, right? Like,
from Time's Athlete of the Year to Forbes' 30 Under 30 to more recently, SBJ's Business Athlete of the Year and the Associated Press Female Athlete of the Year, Clark's trophy case is getting crowded. Meanwhile, the WNBA's social media accounts are acting like your ex who forgot to invite you to the party. What's the deal with this silent treatment? And why are some WNBA veterans suddenly green with envy? In this video, we'll break down Clark's recent record-breaking accomplishments, what this means for women's sports, and why the WNBA and jealous WNBA divas just can't seem to deal with reality. Are you ready? Let's go. A lot to be proud of, and it'll happen so fast, like it's hard to appreciate in the moment. That is Iowa native and Indiana Fever star, and now Time's 2024 Athlete of the Year, Caitlyn Clark, looking back at a whirlwind year. You know how some rookies make a splash? Well, Caitlyn Clark just caused a tsunami in the WNBA, and the aftershocks are still being felt. Let's break down this phenomenon, shall we? Clark's rookie season was nothing short of spectacular. We're talking about a player who averaged 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game. But wait, there's more. She led the entire league in assists and three-pointers made. That's not just good. That's elite for any player. In fact, she broke 62 records along the way.
So many records she broke, not only in college, not only her rookie season. So much has been accomplished for the Indiana Fever. They broke the WNBA home attendance for a single franchise. I mean, I believe the Mystics and the Fever game was the most viewed WNBA game ever in history, single game attendance. So just so many things have happened in such a short amount of time on the back of Caitlyn Clark.
Here's where things get really interesting. Clark's impact off the court has been just as mind-blowing. Get this. WNBA merchandise sales skyrocketed by 500% during her debut season. That's not a typo. We're talking a six-fold increase. It's like Clark waved a magic wand and suddenly everyone wanted a piece of the WNBA. But it's not just about selling jerseys. Clark's presence has been a game-changer for the entire league. Viewership is up. Attendance is through the roof. And the WNBA is reaching audiences it never has before.
We've never, ever seen somebody in this way capture an audience, capture a new audience, and be able to absolutely attribute real numbers and statistics to their popularity, right? Like 19 million people watching, and certainly watching the national championships.
Sports economists are taking notice too. One expert, Thayer Lavielle, called Clark a lightning rod for women's basketball. She's not wrong. Clark's influence is so massive that people are comparing her to Michael Jordan in terms of elevating the sport's profile. So we talk about ceilings a lot, but she created a new floor. So then what we're going to look back, even if it doesn't hit the numbers that it hit this season, the expectation is much higher. The interest is generally much higher. The investment is much higher. Let's talk numbers for a second. You ready for this? Clark's presence is estimated to have generated a whopping $36 million for Indianapolis. That's the kind of impact that makes team owners and city officials sit up and take notice. But here's the real twist. Clark's influence isn't just boosting the WNBA. Lavielle predicts that the combined value of professional women's basketball will increase by $1.6 billion over the next 3 years. That's billion with a B, folks. So, what does all this mean? Well, it's clear that Caitlyn Clark isn't just a great basketball player. She's a phenomenon. She's changing the game both on and off the court, bringing new fans to the sport, and generating serious economic impact. In short, She's exactly the kind of superstar the WNBA has been waiting for.
For the longest time, the WNBA has been trying to get on this global scale, and I feel like that's the direction they are finally headed. I think that WNBA fans have always been proud supporters and pushers of the advancements of this league, but sometimes it takes a certain star of a certain caliber to really just expand and explode the league from the inside out, and that's what Caitlyn Clark is.
But guess what? Not everyone's thrilled about this rookie sensation. Some folks in the WNBA world seem to be having a hard time adjusting to the new normal. Why? Well, that's a whole other can of worms we're about to open.
Cut down 22-year-old Caitlyn Clark, who has single-handedly changed the game, brought in millions of other young fans, old fans. How about the ratings in college basketball for her? Record ratings. And now in her very short WNBA career, shattering records. Isn't that a win for everybody?
Imagine being the biggest star in your league, breaking records left and right, and your own organization acts like you don't exist. Sounds crazy, right? Well, welcome to Caitlyn Clark's world in the WNBA. Let's be real for a second. In most pro sports leagues, when a rookie comes in and dominates like Clark has, it's celebration time. Think about the NBA and how they hyped up their generational rookies. LeBron James, Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, Victor Wembanyama. These guys were plastered all over social media, featured in league promotions, and basically treated like royalty from day one. Like, what are we doing and why? Please stop. Let's celebrate Caitlyn Clark, celebrate her greatness, celebrate her courage to keep pushing through. But the WNBA? Crickets. When Clark was named Associated Press Female Athlete of the Year, a huge deal by the way, the league's response was a retweet. No congratulations. No special write-up, no proud moment. Just a cold, emotionless share. Talk about a lukewarm reception. Now, contrast that with how the WNBA treated Candace Parker when she won the same award a few years back. They went all out with a dedicated post, highlighting her achievements and showing some real pride. So what gives? Why the different treatment for Clark?
Caitlyn Clark, you go girl. Don't listen to these people. Keep going strong. Most of us are normal and have your back.
It's not just about one award either. Clark's been racking up accolades like they're going out of style, and the WNBA's social media accounts have been quieter than a library. No hype videos, no congratulatory posts, nothing. It's like they're actively trying not to acknowledge her success. You know what's really wild? Fans are noticing, and they're not happy. People are wondering why the league isn't capitalizing on Clark's popularity. I mean, we're talking about a player who's bringing in new fans, boosting merchandise sales, and generating serious buzz. Any other league would be shouting her name from the rooftops. So, what's going on here? Is it jealousy? Resentment? Are there internal politics at play that we don't know about? Whatever it is, it's clear that something's off. The WNBA's silence speaks volumes, and it's raising some serious questions about how they handle their star players. But hey, if you thought the league's response was weird, just wait until you hear about some of Clark's fellow players. Turns out some WNBA veterans aren't exactly thrilled about sharing the spotlight. If you've made it this far and are enjoying the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. We know watching this video takes some of your time, and we appreciate you. Now back to the action.
What little girl wants to grow up and play in a league where you're targeted like that? How do you sit here and profess and demand that everyone take women's sports seriously when you can't even take it seriously enough to not act like a junior high queen on the court? It's stupid. That's so dumb. It looks like a soap opera.
You'd think professional athletes would be above petty high school drama, right? Wrong. The green-eyed monster has reared its ugly head in the WNBA, and it's targeting none other than Caitlyn Clark. But who's leading this not-so-subtle shade parade? Let's be real for a second. Professional jealousy in sports isn't new. We've seen it in every league, from the NFL to the NBA. But the way some WNBA veterans are reacting to Clark's success, it's taking things to a whole new level. Take A'ja Wilson, for example. You know, the three-time WNBA MVP who should be secure in her own greatness. But apparently that's not the case. In the Time article, Wilson couldn't help but throw some shade Clark's way. She questioned the criteria for Clark's recognition, implying that her achievements might not be solely based on performance. A'ja Wilson is her name, but it doesn't matter what we all do as black women, we're still gonna be swept underneath the rug. That's why it boils my blood when people say it's not about race, because it is. Really, A'ja? That's the road you want to go down? But wait, there's more. Wilson reportedly declined a lucrative offer to join the unrivaled league. Sources say she was offered more money than Clark. And guess what? This information conveniently leaked right after Clark declined to join. Coincidence? I think not. It's like Wilson's trying to say, hey, look at me. I'm still relevant too.
Did you see how many people showed up to watch Caitlyn Clark play golf? With actual attention economics at play, Caitlyn's participation in any league has an existential bearing. Nobody outside of Asia herself cares about whether Asia shows up.
But here's the thing. Nobody even asked her about it. She made sure to leak that info less than 24 hours after Clark declined to join. Talk about trying to steal someone's thunder.
That's crazy because literally nobody asked, and sources close to Asia Wilson decided to answer anyway.
Then there's Angel Reese. You remember her, right? The LSU star who's been trying to match Clark's popularity since their NCAA showdown. Well, Reese has been on a mission to remind everyone that women's basketball isn't just about Caitlyn Clark. In her own words,
yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Talk about feeling threatened. Even sports commentators are picking up on the jealousy vibe. Skip Bayless called out Reese's post-game remarks, saying they reek a little bit of jealousy and bitterness towards Clark. Ouch. But the award for most unexpected shade goes to WNBA legend Cheryl Swoops. You'd think she'd be all about supporting the next generation, right? Nope. Swoops publicly questioned the criteria for Clark's Time Athlete of the Year award, suggesting that other players, like Asia Wilson, deserved similar recognition. Come on, Cheryl. There's enough spotlight to go around.
Cheryl, I'll start with you. What's your reaction to Caitlyn Clark winning Time Magazine Athlete of the Year?
I don't think I'm surprised. I'm curious to know who the other candidates were.
Here's the thing. This behavior isn't just petty. It's potentially harmful to the league as a whole. The WNBA is at a crucial point in its growth, with Clark bringing in new fans and media attention. But instead of capitalizing on this momentum, some of the league's biggest names are busy playing high school mean girls.
Put Asia Wilson in there.
That was just basketball.
So that's what I'm saying. Was it just the performance on the court, or
no, it's global?
Else?
It's like I think it's everything.
Yeah,
it's everything.
Think about it. How does this look to new fans, to sponsors, to young girls dreaming of playing in the WNBA? It's not a good look, that's for sure. This kind of internal drama could seriously impact team dynamics and the league's marketability. So what's next for the WNBA in the Caitlyn Clark era? Will the veterans learn to embrace her success? Or will the green-eyed monster continue to run rampant? One thing's for sure. The drama isn't just on the court anymore. And while the players are busy throwing shade, it's the fans who might end up
getting burned.
That's all I see. They try so long to get respect for women's basketball, and then they treat it like a junior high school girl's locker room. Junior high school girl antics on the court.
Speaking of getting burned, it's not just the players causing a stir in the WNBA world. The media's coverage of Clark has been interesting, to say the least. Are you ready to break it down? Picture this. A rising star, breaking records left and right. Now imagine half the sports world cheering, while the other half squints suspiciously. Welcome to the bizarre world of Caitlyn Clark coverage, where praise and scrutiny collide in the most unexpected ways. Let's be real for a second. Sports media isn't always a bastion of objectivity, but the way Caitlyn Clark's story is being told, it's like watching two different movies at the same time. On one side, you've got non-WNBA specific media outlets falling over themselves to crown Clark as the new queen of basketball. They're all about her record-breaking stats, her impact on viewership, and how she's changing the game.
Time Magazine names Iowa's Caitlyn Clark Athlete of the Year. Clark follows Lionel Messi, Aaron Judge, and Simone Biles. No unbiased person sees this as a controversial choice.
But flip the channel to WNBA-specific media, and suddenly the tone shifts. It's like they're watching a completely different player. Instead of celebration, you get skepticism. Rather than praising her achievements, they're questioning the criteria. It's like they're looking for any reason to downplay
Clark's impact.
If you look at, and I don't know who all the others are, I think you said some names. I don't remember everyone who was on the list. So I don't know if this applies to all, but a lot of what I saw for people is she hasn't won anything. And I think like some of the others have won a championship, or the U.S. women's national team, whatever they won in the year, that they got the honor.
You know what's really wild? This divide in coverage isn't just about different opinions. It's creating two separate narratives about the same player. Mainstream media is all about the Caitlyn Clark effect, how she's boosting ratings, ticket sales, and interest in women's basketball. But WNBA insiders? They're more focused on comparing Clark to established stars like A'ja Wilson, often implying that Clark's popularity isn't entirely earned. So what's driving this negative coverage from within the WNBA media bubble? Is it about protecting the status quo, fear of change, or maybe it's a misguided attempt to maintain balance by countering the mainstream hype? Whatever the reason, it's creating a seriously confusing landscape for anyone trying to follow Clark's career.
But what I will say is I hope there's only been 2 basketball players. So I hope that they will continue to look at, like, you know, the league, the WNBA.
The real question is, how does this media maze affect public perception of Clark and the WNBA as a whole? Are we missing out on celebrating a generational talent because some can't see past their own biases? And what does this mean for the future of women's basketball? One thing's for sure, the Caitlyn Clark story is far from over, and how it's told might just shape the league for years to come. What a ride, right? Clark's success isn't just reshaping the WNBA, it's flipping the whole script. But with great success comes great jealousy, apparently. So, what's next for the WNBA in the Caitlyn Clark era? Will the league embrace its new superstar, or keep playing this weird game of hide and seek with her achievements? One thing's for sure, the ball's in their court now. How they play it will shape the future of women's basketball for years to come. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.